is Ebb Tide, and Ebb Tide is one of the 12 pieces I wrote for my residency at Classic FM. It's also probably the piece that I've found most easy to write. It's almost as if it wrote itself. One day in November in the year 2005, shortly after I'd moved to Norfolk, I went for a walk on the beach at Winterton near Great Yarmouth. And it's my favourite beach around here. There's just mile upon mile of white sand. And on this particular afternoon, there was nobody else on the beach. So there was this great sense of loneliness and space. And as I was walking by the sea, suddenly a musical phrase came into my head so clearly that I came back and wrote it down and ended up with a piece which is quite repetitive but which makes perfect sense. And I wrote it, I think, in about half an hour. This is the phrase that I heard in my head. And to me it perfectly sums up the gentle movement and repetitive movement of the waves as they fall onto the seashore. But it also evokes that misty November sky, so typical of this part of Norfolk. And I think what gives the music that particular feel is the bare fifth. There's no sense of the third, the harmony. And so these bare intervals join with one another to create a texture, once the pedals down, that's full of stillness and space and diffused light. Towards the end of the piece, I suddenly introduce a lower texture in the piano. And here, there's a sense of the sea becoming deeper as you gaze further and further out onto the horizon. Over it, I continue the pattern from the beginning of the piece to give this effect. And of course, when you have a repeated, held chord in a texture, we call that a pedal. And what it does is to give a great sense of peace and stability. And I can certainly remember that day a great sense of inner peace and tranquility. And this is the mood that lasts all the way to the end of Ebb Tide. It ends indeed with a pedal note and with this all-important interval of the fifth.